And it looked like the Cleveland Browns locker room is ready to turn on Kevin Stefanski a day before tomorrow's matchup against the any coach, man. The biggest fear, I feel like, is your team turning on you in locker room drama. Well, I'm here to tell you, insiders and people that is close to the Cleveland Browns football team is letting it be known that is exactly the case that is boiling and brewing in the
Breaking news straight out of Cleveland. And no, this ain't about another factory of sadness. It's way messier than that. Word around the league is the Browns locker room is sizzling hotter than a summer cookout grill, and all signs point to Coach Kevin Stefanski sitting on a wild secret about Shedeur Sanders. Players are allegedly turning on him faster than cell service after a blackout, and the whispers are loud. Shedeur hasn't even touched the field, yet somehow he's already at the center of a mutiny. Why is everyone so heated? Because Shedeur's been sidelined, and that silence has sparked soap opera level tension behind those locker room doors. The Browns' house is looking less like a football team and more like a live reality show, complete with betrayal, drama, and a coach stuck in the hot seat. And here's the kicker. It's not even about play calls, defensive breakdowns, or Deshaun Watson's roller coaster Sundays. Nope, the plot twist is all Shedeur. The man hasn't played a single down, hasn't thrown a pass, hasn't even taken a legit NFL hit, yet he's already managed to stir up chaos like a seasoned vet. That's classic Cleveland for you.
So ugly in Cleveland, man. Now there's been an article released about Kevin Stefanski losing the locker room and the veteran players eventually turning their back on the head coach. And we got a lot to unpack. Man, I'm here to tell you, man, the rumor mill is starting to swirl, man. We getting some new information out of Cleveland that the Cleveland Browns veteran players are about to turn their back on Kevin Stefanski. And is he losing control over the locker room? Now, we've seen this whole quarterback situation play out through the draft.
If there's peace, they'll invent noise. This city seems contractually locked into delivering a football circus every fall. While other teams fight about missed coverages or botched assignments, the Browns are busy debating a rookie who hasn't even stepped off the sideline. You know your franchise is cursed when the biggest drama is about a guy who hasn't even taken a snap yet. It's like arguing over a birthday cake before it's baked, only to realize someone forgot the frosting too. And still, the whispers don't stop. Word leaking out of the Browns locker room says players are side-eyeing Stefanski, wondering if he's lost his grip, his nerve, or maybe both. And get this, it's not because the offense fell apart or the defense got torched. Nope. The supposed crime is that Shedeur Sanders is still holding a clipboard instead of leading the charge. That's what's got vets muttering under their breath and questioning their coach. This ain't about film sessions, playbook design, or even Stefanski's years of philosophy. It's about patience wearing thin. And when patience starts looking like pure stubbornness, that frustration spreads like wildfire. One rookie with swagger walks in carrying himself like Destiny's Child of football, and suddenly the veterans who've been grinding for years start believing he's the missing piece. You'd think this locker room would finally crave stability, but nah, stability doesn't trend, drama does. Drama sells, drama distracts, drama keeps those group chats buzzing long after practice is over. And right now, Shedeur Sanders has become the lightning rod for every ounce of that drama. But this is Cleveland we're talking about, the city where fans are starving for something that even feels like magic. This is the franchise that hasn't had consistent quarterback play since back when rotary phones were still clicking on the wall. To this city,
veteran players, and a lot of these guys in the locker room want Shedeur Sanders to play. They want Shedeur Sanders not only to play, but to start. They do not want Joe Flacco in there. They do not want Dylan Gabriel above Shedeur. These are players that is on the Cleveland Browns team. Because you want to know why? Because if Shedeur play and Shedeur starts, everybody wins. Everybody make more money because now the interest in the team is hotter than every team in the NFL. Ticket sales go up, merchandise sales go up. Just anything with the Cleveland Browns is going to go up if they...
Shedeur Sanders ain't just a rookie. He's a symbol of possibility, and that's exactly why the hype has spun out of control so fast. He's not just another fresh face in the locker room, he's already been cast as the future. Logic? That's stuffed in the locker with the sweaty socks. Rational thinking? That doesn't trend online. But a quarterback controversy? That lights the internet on fire, and that's the storm Coach Stefanski is standing in right now. It doesn't matter that Shedeur hasn't been tested against real NFL speed yet. It doesn't matter that patience might give him the best chance to thrive long-term. What matters is perception, and right now, perception is reality. And that reality is heavy enough to suffocate a whole locker room. The Browns didn't need any help stirring up drama. They've been masters at heartbreak for decades, but with Shedeur's arrival, they've unlocked a brand new saga, one where a rookie's aura feels bigger than his resume, and a head coach suddenly looks like he's losing his grip. And honestly, it's not even shocking. NFL locker rooms are fragile ecosystems. These grown men spend more time with each other than with their own families, jammed together in film rooms, cafeterias, and weight racks until somebody finally cracks. And now Shedeur Sanders is chilling on the bench while fans outside the building are foaming at the mouth for him to take over. Fans are desperate to see Shedeur Sanders throw his very first NFL pass, and honestly, it's wild when you think about it. Normally, NFL veterans couldn't care less about internet hype. Half these dudes don't even know how to reset their Wi-Fi routers. But now,
persistent narrative that you're trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders, especially after yesterday and not putting him in for the 2-minute.
Yeah, obviously, I don't concern myself with outside type of things, but I'm committed to his development, just like all of our rookies. So we'll continue to focus on getting our guys better. And that's what we'll stay committed to, and that's...
Suddenly they're acting like teenagers glued to TikTok and YouTube, replaying Shedeur's college highlights on loop. They're watching slow-mo edits of him dropping 40-yard lasers, flexing on cornerbacks, flashing that wristwatch celebration after touchdowns, and once those clips start bouncing around the locker room, the whispers grow louder. Curiosity spreads like wildfire, and soon half the squad is asking the same question: why not let the kid take a shot? But here's the harsh truth. This ain't Colorado anymore, and this ain't some Pac-12 cupcake defense. This is the NFL. This is grown men with mortgages, aching backs, and speed that looks like it came straight from a video game. This is defensive ends who sprint like Olympians but hit like refrigerators on wheels. One wrong read and a rookie gets folded in half before he even knows what happened. Still, the energy is contagious. Players feel it, they buy into it, and they start convincing themselves that maybe, just maybe,
like that. I don't know what happened, what was going on. Or the receiver coach took over the play calls for the first time in his career. Things changed for the offense when Shedeur Sanders came into that game. All of a sudden, when Shedeur enters the game, the Browns are a pass-first team, run second. I sure didn't like the sequence of play calling when Shedeur Sanders entered the game. Pass first, run second. That is never the Cleveland Browns model. And to me, that play calling was done intentionally.
This untested rookie could be the magic bullet to save the season. It doesn't matter that the jump from Saturday stadiums to Sunday spotlight is like going from karaoke night to headlining Madison Square Garden. The belief is already building, and that belief is dangerous. In the players' minds, the script is already written. Shedeur Sanders equals spark, spark equals wins, and wins equals salvation. And that's what makes this whole situation almost comical. Shedeur hasn't even touched the field, yet somehow he's already split the locker room in two. Veterans are side-eyeing the coaches. The younger guys are quietly rallying behind him.
No, Shedeur ain't sniffing that first team. We should have known that was the way they was gonna keep it when Kenny first went down. When Kenny first went down, they made sure Shedeur didn't get no first rep. Now that was the tone setter. I didn't realize that, and I tried to give it a little leeway, but Kevin ain't studying Shedeur right now. He's not studying Shedeur.
Play calling when Shedeur is playing. Then I'm thinking he has to get a chance to run this 2-minute drill. He has to get fair play calling, and they have to call plays correctly in this 2-minute drill. There's no way to sabotage this 2-minute drill. Then boom, he snatched out of the game. What logical reason can Kevin Stefanski have for snatching Shedeur Sanders out of the game for the 2-minute drill to put a young man they just signed from off the streets into the 2-minute drill that you 9 times out of 10 probably don't have any chance of him making the team? I was also waiting to see how Dylan Gabriel respond coming back from halftime, but he was snatched and Shedeur was put in with the bogus players.
And suddenly the atmosphere feels less like an NFL franchise and more like a reality show with shoulder pads. You can practically picture the confessional-style clips, defensive tackles sighing about leadership, wide receivers begging for excitement, linemen grumbling that the coach just doesn't get it. It's not even about hating Stefanski, it's about hype pulling harder than strategy ever could. And that hype, it's everywhere. Instead of focusing on playbooks and execution, the team is drowning in distractions. Guys are watching Shedeur highlights over breakfast, replaying them in the locker room, whispering about them during lifts in the weight room. That kind of buzz spreads fast, and once it takes over, no fiery speech or coach's glare can shove the genie back into the bottle. Sure, Stefanski might still be clinging to logic on his clipboard, but in the hearts of his players, hype has already stolen the crown. Shedeur Sanders isn't just hype, he's a full-blown marketing package. He's got the swagger, he's got Deion Sanders' DNA running through his veins, and he's carrying an aura that already feels bigger than the Browns themselves, which, let's be real, isn't too hard, considering this franchise has been the league's punchline for decades. This is the same team that drafted Johnny Manziel like he was Hollywood's next leading man instead of a quarterback, and then acted shocked when the whole circus collapsed faster than a viral TikTok trend. Stefanski knows better than to throw a rookie straight into the fire just to feed a hype machine.
Kevin Stefanski is saying, and the way he's going about things, some things are just not adding up. And Ryan Clark of ESPN basically exposed Kevin Stefanski this morning on Get Up. He had a very interesting take on Kevin Stefanski's motive. Also, this is all surrounded around naming Joe Flacco QB1 for opening day against Cincinnati. Well, that came to no surprise. Now the big question is, who is...
But here's the problem. Players don't think like that. Players think one way, we're not winning enough, so maybe the shiny new toy on the bench is the answer. It's like parking a brand new sports car in your driveway and still choosing to commute in a rusty old minivan. Eventually, somebody's gonna ask why you won't just take the car out for a spin. And once that question gets whispered inside a locker room, it spreads like wildfire until the whole place is buzzing with the same thought. Here's the truth about NFL locker rooms. It's not just about performance, it's about belief. And if enough players believe a guy could be the spark, even if they're dead wrong, that belief alone can flip the energy of the entire team. Right now, the Browns' energy feels split right down the middle. Half the locker room believes Stefanski knows exactly what he's doing, while the other half swears he's gatekeeping a superstar from shining. And once a coach starts losing the room, it doesn't matter what's scribbled in the playbook, the season starts slipping through his fingers.
We clearly know what you did. We clearly know that the plays that you gave for Dylan Gabriel, throwing the check down underneath to make him look good. Same plays for Flacco. Then you throw Shedeur in the game with a tight end whose name ain't even on the roster? And some other players? And then you have them run long.
Shedeur Sanders is the perfect storm for this kind of drama. He's young, confident, flashy, and already moves like a celebrity. That vibe pulls younger players in like moths to a flame, while the veterans either roll their eyes at the hype or secretly wonder if maybe, just maybe, the kid is the missing piece. It's like being told to choose between pineapple pizza or anchovies. You're gonna get yelled at no matter what side you pick. And let's be real, this ain't the first time an NFL team has fallen into the rookie quarterback hype trap. Remember Tim Tebow with the Broncos? That locker room was split in half, fans lost their minds, and suddenly the coaching staff was bending to the hype like it was law. But here's the difference. Tebow had that miracle playoff win to buy him legitimacy. Shedeur, he hasn't even had a preseason miracle yet, but the buzz around him is already louder. That's how strong this kid's aura is. And don't forget, this is Cleveland. We're talking about a franchise that has chewed up and spit out quarterbacks like sunflower seeds for decades. The Browns have been through more quarterbacks than most people go through phone chargers. Every few years, it's the same sad story. Some new savior rolls in, the hype machine kicks into overdrive, and by Thanksgiving, everyone's already debating who the next savior should be.
Practice, and we've seen what's happened in preseason. Now, all camp long, there's reports that was surfacing and people in the media talking about the treatment of Shedeur Sanders and also Dylan Gabriel. But we all know it was heavy against Shedeur Sanders, where there's reports out there that they wasn't giving him an opportunity. They wasn't giving him no reps with.
Shedeur Sanders is just the latest chapter in this endless cycle of quarterback roulette, and you can practically feel the players' frustrations boiling. These guys are busting their bodies on the field every week, desperate for any spark to get wins, and meanwhile, the one player they believe could inject life into the season is just standing there with a clipboard. To them, that looks like wasted opportunity. To Stefanski, it looks like discipline and patience. Two realities completely opposite, now colliding under the same roof. And here's the wildest part. The Browns aren't even in a spot where they need more chaos. But once you add in the outside noise, the flames get higher. Fans are already chanting Shadeur's name like he's the second coming. Social media is drowning in highlight edits, half of them probably made by teenagers who've never even watched a Browns game in their life. And the media? They're eating it up because nothing sells clicks like a quarterback controversy. But inside that locker room, the players aren't immune. They hear it.
Now, guys, if you really know what's going on in football in the quarterback position, sometimes teams don't carry 4 quarterbacks on the roster. So now you got the starting quarterback and you got the backup quarterback. And then the third string and fourth string, they're probably demoted down to the practice squad or even let go. And also, third and fourth string, they don't even dress. It's your backup quarterback that dresses and is on the sideline holding the clipboard. And the rest of them,
they feel it, and eventually some start believing it. And that's where careers start collapsing. A coach can survive bad play calls, even ugly losses, but once the players stop believing in you, once they start thinking you're blocking the future, that's when it's over. Right now, Kevin Stefanski is walking the finest tightrope of his coaching career, and the rope is fraying with every snap. On one side, he's got veterans demanding stability, the guys who've seen enough false prophets to know hype alone doesn't win games. On the other side, he's got younger players buzzing like it's a college locker room, convinced Shedeur Sanders is the miracle cure for all the Browns' problems. That kind of split is toxic. It eats at a team from the inside out. One half of the room looks at Stefanski and sees discipline. The other half looks at him and sees a roadblock. And when a coach becomes the obstacle in the eyes of his own players, his authority doesn't just slip, it collapses. And make no mistake, the pressure isn't only inside the building. Outside, the noise is deafening. Fans are chanting Shadeur's name before kickoff. Reporters are firing questions about when he'll play, and social media is running daily countdowns to his inevitable debut.
And they bind together. Stefanski can turn, he's a pocket passer. Stefanski does great with pocket passers. He had Flacco, he had Winston. Them are pocket passers. Watson's not a pocket passer. Stefanski was horrible with Watson. So with Shedeur, if Stefanski put the blinders on and just let the boy cook and be fair about it, it might be.
It's not just hype anymore. It's a movement. Stefanski knows if he caves too soon and Shedeur fails, he'll be crucified. But if he waits too long and the losses pile up, he'll look like the man who cost Cleveland its shot at glory. Either way, the clock is ticking and the margin for error is vanishing. One wrong decision, one more ugly Sunday, and this whole franchise could explode into open rebellion with Stefanski standing right in the blast zone. And Stefanski has to be feeling that fire right now, because even if he's making the right football decision, perception is drowning out reality, and the perception is brutal. He's blocking the rise of Shedeur Sanders. The real question is simple but dangerous. What happens next? Does Stefanski cave to the hype and roll the dice, or does he double down and risk tearing his locker room in two? Neither path looks safe. If he throws Shedeur in too early, he risks breaking the kid before he's ready. If he waits too long, he risks losing his players for good.
We don't, here it is, Ocho. Here's Kevin Stefanski not letting Shedeur run the 2-minute drill at the end of the game with the Browns. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Kevin, it was obviously a bit of a rough second half for Shedeur and the entire Browns offense. But why didn't you keep him in for the 2-minute drill? Why did you decide to put Tyler in?
Yeah, obviously we didn't play great as an offense in the second half. That's never on one person. So we can be we can be better in a bunch of areas. And just felt like
It's like juggling knives while blindfolded. Sure, you might impress the crowd for a moment, but sooner or later something sharp is going to drop. And that's exactly where the Browns always seem to land, teetering on the edge of competence, only to slip on their own banana peel. Shedeur Sanders might be the savior of the future, or just another name in the Browns' tragic quarterback graveyard. Because if history has taught us anything, it's this. The Browns can't just play football, they gotta turn it into a soap opera. This year's storyline couldn't be clearer. Shedeur Sanders versus Kevin Stefanski. One's the shiny new face of hype, the other's the steady hand of discipline, and the locker room is trapped in the middle like it's a family feud with no referee. And however this saga ends, one thing's guaranteed. It's going to be peak Browns. So tell me, what do you think? Should Stefanski unleash Shedeur or hold the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video with your crew. I'll catch you on the next one.